Unlock it. Whoa. I'm gonna knock my camera over here. Oh, that's what's loose. Okay, there we go. Okay. Where is everybody at? I need a little deeper. We see right there? We can't see right there with the sun. Okay, so I gotta come this way. What's going on? So we got busted over here. This is technically a no fishing zone. And we see it. We even see it. What the hell's going on? I can't even see it. So I was going to shoot a little bait tutorial, guys. I can't tell if it's like the glare or what. I can't see shit in the water. Let me clean the camera real quick. Okay. So I'm technically in a no fishing zone. Technically not supposed to fish this lake. We've been fishing the hell out of it, doing pretty well. So what I'm kind of trying to do right now is get some different baits in the water to kind of show how they react. Problem I'm having right here is that for some reason the camera's not really picking them up. I don't think it's picking them up. So I can't even see it on here. So I'm just over here kind of hanging out right now. Dude on a power trip came over. He works for the resort. He's there. I think he said he's the maintenance manager. But they're over here doing pumping some water out, like watering the trees. And he came over on a power trip about me fishing. So I figured I'd do a little bait tutorial. Problem is, I don't know. Can you guys see this bait on the camera or no? Can you see it moving or not? I can't see. I got a glare, so I can't really tell what's going on. But it looks to me like everything's fogged out. So this may not work the way I was kind of hoping it would. Can you guys even see that little yellow Senko rolling through there or no? All right. I can't even see it. Oh, it's blue yellow. It's just like right when it hits the water, they're all over it. Trying to get video footage of what Senkos, and I was going to do a drop shot and a fluke of how they act underwater. but apparently they're not wanting to cooperate, or the camera's not wanting to cooperate. I can't see it, so it's hard to know on camera what it's doing if I can't see what it's doing. But we're trying to get what a Senko does underwater, how they act, how they float. I got it rigged, Texas rigged weedless, with no weight. I don't know if you guys can see it in there or not, but being able to see what your baits do underwater will help your fishing because you know what's actually going on. So, I just almost knocked the camera into the water. So hopefully we can see it in the camera. I can't. I got a glare on the screen, so I can't see what it's doing. But the weedless Texas rig Senko actually looks pretty cool underwater, the way it kind of darts around a little bit when you twitch it. And the way it falls is kind of cool. It has a little shimmy to it as it falls. And then, I don't know if you can see it out there, but the bluegill are just like all over it right when they see it. So when you give it just a little twitch, they kind of dart a little bit side to side, and then they slowly sink down almost vertical, and then they'll lay flat, and then they'll dive when you pull them again. They'll like pop up and dive. They'll do that weird little like quick little side to side. It'll go one way, and then it'll go another way, and then it'll just kind of the drop to it's pretty cool. They seem to drop pretty horizontal and have this cool little shimmy to them when they drop. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to come back over here. Actually, I can do it with this hook. I'm going to wacky rig it, and we'll see what it does on a wacky rig, how it drops and acts. So I was going to come over here and fish. I was going to throw some frogs, but kind of got busted. So all right, so when I'm wacky rigging my baits, okay, this one, I don't know if you can really tell on camera. This has got two colors. It's like this really weird chartreuse and a white. And I will rig my baits from the top, from like the chartreuse side, so that when they hit the water, that white, which represents more of a fish's belly, is floating down. So let's see what the wacky rig does underwater and how it looks. Pop it out there. You guys can see that on camera right there. See how it just kind of does a little shimmy as it floats down. And then when you twitch it, it's got a different twitch to it than when it's Texas rigged. It almost folds, and it's just got a really cool little, the ends twitch, and then it does that shimmy back down. And then it'll fall pretty evenly once you let it start falling. But it's got that shimmy to it. It's just really cool. But if you twitch it faster, it really bends, and it kind of does give off that swimming motion that'll attract the bass. See, there was a bass just looking at it right there. He saw it hit the water, and he started looking at it, and right when it got too close to shore, he bailed off of it. But the little shimmy twitch to it. And now if you hold your line tight, it'll actually go, one end will sink quicker than the other. So, all right, so that's the wacky rig. And you can hop it along the bottom, and you guys see it kicks up all that dust down there. Let me get it back down here where it'll hop along the bottom. And if you just drag it across the bottom, it kicks up dust and debris, and looks like something, you know, scavenging through the dirt. So, all right, so that's the Senko, Wacky and Texas rigged. So let me go back over here. I'll rig up a drop shot real quick, and I'm going to zoom the camera back out. We were way zoomed in for that, so I'll zoom the camera back out. I'm going to go over here, rig up the drop shot, and show you guys how a drop shot looks underwater. So give me a second. I'm actually going to give me 1 second here to get the camera down, and I'll be able to hang out and talk to you guys for a minute. Look, I got the camera extended way up. All right. So I can actually kind of see chat now. So let me find my pliers here. I'll cut this off, and we'll tie up a drop shot, and we'll show you guys what the drop looks like underwater. Now I know this, you know, a lot of you really don't care, but ow, son of a bitch! I just caught myself. All right, so next thing we're going to tie on here to show it works underwater is the drop shot. And it's already, guys, it's already 100 degrees out here, and it's like just, what, 8 o'clock in the morning? So I'm freaking sweating balls over here. All right, we get all this put away, and we'll go for the drop shot next. We'll show you guys what the drop shot looks like underwater. So I have just a small little drop shot weight, a small little drop shot hook. If I can get it out of my stupid little thing here. Maybe. Okay, there we go. All right. So now, let me get this tied up, and we're going to do the drop shot demo. So, if you guys don't know how to tie a drop shot, it's pretty simple. Just tie a Palomar knot, and don't cut your tag. Leave a long tag, depending on where you're fishing. Anywhere from, 6 to 18 inches, depending on your water that you're fishing, and how high you want your bait off the bottom. So let me tie this up. Oh, come on. This hook's so small, it's hard to tie a drop shot or a Palomar knot on it. Because the eyelet's so small, it's hard to get the line to go through twice. There we go. I finally got it. All right. All right. So the whole premise of this video right now is to kind of show what different baits do underwater. And how they act different on a different rig setup. So like we just saw that the Senko will act completely different on, oops, that's too short. I'm going to have to make this rig really short because it's really shallow right here, but it'll give you guys the idea of what it looks like. So I'm already sweating into my eyes, man, and it's like not even, I think it's like just after 8 o'clock. Let me get this weight tight on here without tying my hook to it. All right, there we go. My knot just got caught around my hook. So this drop shot that I'm setting up right now, guys, is going to be super, super short, but it's just for the purpose of showing how it pulls through the water on the video here. So let me put my other hook away so I don't lose it here and have somebody step on it. All right. And then we have just your standard, average, everyday robo worm. This one's what I think Aaron's Magic that I'm throwing on here. And we'll show you guys how this acts underwater. Now, if you can, when you're tying your drop shot, I didn't do this time, just because for the video purposes, I don't really want to take the extra time to do it. But if you, once you tie your Palomar knot, and this hook I'm using is too small to do it anyway, so, but once you tie your Palomar, take your tag end of your hook and actually run it back through the eye of the hook. That'll keep your hook floating a little like straighter, for lack of a better term. You want your hook pointing up, obviously, but if you can get that hook to like sit to where it basically sits nice and straight off of the line, that'll help you out quite a bit. So now I'm having an issue getting this thing to hook the way I want it to, just because I'm using a super tiny hook. All right. So that should work. Okay, so let me get back over here. We'll drop this in and we'll show you the action of the drop shot in the water. So I don't know how well we can see this, but see how that worm just kind of stays off the bottom there, and it just kind of floats around and twitches a little bit to where I have this really short because of I'm trying to get it so where you can actually see it. If I was going to do it, a regular drop shot distance or like, size, we'd have to cast it way out where you couldn't see it. But if you can see that in the water there, that weight, as you drag your drop shot, that weight kind of kicks up a little bit of dust and dirt here and there. But your worm kind of twitches and swims a little bit. And it doesn't take much. I mean, you barely got to move you just wiggle the tip of your rod, and that worm is moving around quite a bit. You can see the bluegill are all over it. But the way it just twitches and dances on that hook, and that you got that weight kind of below it kicking up a little bit of dust, that's going to really, really, really bring those bass in to see what the heck's going on. And it, obviously, the harder you twitch it, the more action you're going to get from it. But just doing a real slow twitch right here, let me wait for that water ripple to go away. You can see how it just does this cool little like twitching and swimming. And if you can get it, if you can figure out the distance to the top of your weed line, you can get this thing to where it looks like it's just picking stuff off the top of those weeds. Now, obviously, I had to do a real short weight here for the distance in the water. But the drop shot actually looks pretty cool the way it comes through the water. Let's get that out there one more time, and we'll show you how it comes through one last time. Let that water ring go away, and then boom. See how it just kind of twitches and dances, and finding out the depth of your weeds is going to be key, because if you can get this thing to where it looks like it's just picking stuff off the top of the weed beds, then you're going to have a lot of success on the drop shot. All right, let's move over. I'm going to chop this off of here, and we'll go with a fluke. We'll show you guys what a fluke like when it's swimming around under the water here. So give me a minute to retie everything. We're going to actually fish these, but there's not really any fishing here. So, all right, so cut the drop shot off. We'll rig up the fluke. Actually, I think what I'll rig up first is the donkey rig. And I'll show you guys the donkey rig, how that works. So that's one of my all-time favorite rigs. The way that thing works and looks underwater is just phenomenal. So let me get that one tied on, and we'll show you what that one does underwater. That one looks freaking awesome in the water. And that one is that's one of my rigs that I have the most confidence in, to be honest. And that's because of the way that rig comes through the water and swims. So I've got one. Okay. So let me find my flukes here. I got two. Oh, I think I already have a couple that are pre-tied. Maybe. Is this one pre-tied? Yeah, it's not very long, but it'll work. Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to take a fluke and you're going to rig that on a swivel. Okay, you're going to tie your fluke. You're going to tie a leader to your fluke, to your hook, obviously. And you're going to make one leader about 6 to 10 inches long. I've noticed that since I've been going shorter with my leader, it's actually been working out better. This leader that I'm tying up right now is just an old fluke leader that I had on here that I cut last time I was fishing it. But I'll show you here, once it's rigged, I'll show you what the fully rigged looks like. Because you got to tie 2 of everything for this rig. You're tying 2 flukes with 2 swivels on. Oops, it didn't stick. Okay. So you're tying a Carolina rig. Okay. However, instead of using a weight on your Carolina rig where you would put like your sliding weight, you're going to put a swivel. And you're not going to tie that swivel. That swivel is going to free float. And I'll show you here in just a second. Trying to get this tied on. I'm using old leader line that I've already cut off of another rig. Last time I fished this rig at the pond, at the lake. So the line's kind of trash and hard to tie, but we'll get it tied on here. And then you do want to make sure that you clip your tag ends on this rig, because what'll happen is if you don't, they'll catch each other and you'll have some issues. So I got one fluke tied up. Let me get the other one going here. I'm going to have to, do I have some line? I have a little bit of braid. I don't know if it'll be enough. Oh yeah, it'll be enough. Okay. So I'll show you in just a second. I almost got this tied up here. This rig takes a while to tie because, like I said, you're doing 2 of everything. But once it's tied, man, this thing is phenomenal. This is a bass killing rig. So, and again, guys, we're not really fishing. We're just kind of hanging out, doing a little bit of bait presentations in the water. Just kind of giving you guys an idea of how certain things come through the water. We're not really supposed to fish this pond, but dude is cool enough to, be cool to let me, be cool enough to let me actually shoot this little tutorial here. So, all right, now get my second fluke tied onto this other swivel. And now you can, the way I'm doing this right now, and you guys can't see it on camera, but I normally tie this on the fly. So I'll start brand new with all brand new stuff. I'll reuse my swivel, obviously, but I'll recreate this rig every time on the water. And it takes a bit because, like I said, I'm tying two of everything. But right now, I'm just going to tie my leaders and then throw them on. Normally, I would not tie my leaders first. I would, this one's going to be a little long, but it's okay. Normally, I would tie my leaders, brand new leader line as I go, so that I can get them matched up to the right length, because you want your flukes to sit nose to tail. But once I get this tied on here, actually, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to tie this on real quick. I'm going to tie my Carolina rig swivel, and then I'll readjust my one fluke so we can actually get it right for the video. All right. So I am sweating like crazy over here, you guys, and it's like not even freaking 9 o'clock in the morning yet. I got sweat dripping into my eyeballs. Okay. So now that we got that tied up, let me actually, I didn't measure. That's one of the key things to this rig that I'm tying, this donkey rig, is measuring your leaders to make sure that they're proper. The one leader that I got tied on now is a little longer than I want it to. So I'm going to shorten it up just a hair. I'll cut my knot, and I'll probably end up being too short because I'm going to lose some line. I was like not too much longer than I wanted it to, but when I cut and retie, I'm going to lose a little bit of my line here. So let me cut the tags off. And like I said, you always want to cut your tags all the way off on this so that they don't snag each other and cause line issues. You'll have them catch and they'll twist and whatever. You'll end up getting lines tangled up, and that's never fun because then you lose gear and all kinds of crap. So I'm just going to make this one about an inch shorter than I had it. And we'll show you the donkey rig in the water, how it works, and how it swims. And I think once you see how this thing swims, you're gonna want to try this rig. So if I can get my knot tied here, having issues with it. There it goes. Okay. This braid that I ordered new braid, but this braid that I have is just trash. It's the Bass Pro Shops brand braid, and I'm not happy with it. Guys, I am sweating balls. It is just too hot. Oh, this is a used up fluke. Okay, that's fine. it'll work for what we're doing. Okay, so let me get all this stuff back in the bag. Sweating into my eyes. All right. All right. So here's what this looks like once it's tied. Okay. Let's go back down here to the water's edge. And we're going to show you guys what this thing looks like in the water. This is one of my favorites. This is my go-to rig. It's a great search rig. And it really drives the bass crazy. Once you figure this thing out, you're going to love it. So we'll flip this thing out here a little bit. If I can get it untangled off the tip of my rod. All right, we get it flipped out there, right? And now what you're going to want to do is when this hits the water, you're going to want to let it sink to whatever depth you're going to fish it. And then you're just going to give it some little twitches. Almost like a jerk bait, but not as hard of twitches. And what happens is these flukes do this really cool little like dance in the water. So let it sink down to, now I know this sinks about a foot per second. So right here, we're in real shallow water, just so you guys can see it in the water. But when you see how those flukes kind of trail each other, but they go separate ways. I keep wrapping this braid around my rod. This Bass Pro braid's got to go. This stuff is garbage. I am never using their braid again. I mean, like, I barely even moved my rod and it tangled the freaking braid around and it just did it again, because it's like, I've never seen braid with memory to it. This stuff is just trash. I just untangled my braid off the tip of my rod, and I picked my rod tip up and it tangled it like 4 more times again. So let me do it. Let me redo this. Okay, so, but you see how they sit nose to tail like that. So you have your Carolina rig, okay? This is basically just a Carolina rig, okay? Then you put the second swivel on there that just floats up and down your line. The swivel is not tied. Your lines, this can go up and down your line. So it's free floating. So when it hits the water, those flukes will follow each other, but they'll kind of twist and dip and dart in opposite directions within that little span of the distance of your leader. And the faster you move it, the more they twitch. So I'll get it out here a little farther, and I'll bring it in kind of quick, where you can see how they just like dip and dart, and they look like bait fish fleeing from a predator. And that drives the bass crazy, because the bass think, even if they're not really on the chew, when they're not really feeding, when those flukes do that little dance and look like they're trying to get away from the bass, that triggers bites. Whether it's just a reaction bite or what, but it triggers it. Now, what I've noticed a lot of times is that when they do hit this, a lot of times it'll be on the pause. So watch. I'll get it out there. I got a little bit of weeds on one, but I don't really. Oh, there it came off. So when you get it out there, it hits the water. They're going to do their initial sink, right? You'll give it your twitches, and they kind of do that little fleeing motion. And then on the pause, they'll pretty much nose down and hit the bottom, right? Now, the key to this rig is the cadence to it. And the cadence is going to be different for different depths, different lakes, all that. But it's usually just a twitch, twitch, pause. And then I'll do like a twitch, 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 and then a pause, and then just one big jerk. Nah, that one was too hard for the shallow water. It pulled it out. So you do a twitch, twitch, and they kind of go their separate ways. And then a twitch, 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 and they'll kind of go like different directions. And then a real hard twitch, they'll move quite a bit, and then they'll do that same thing again where they do their split and dive. So when we do a real hard twitch here, and see how they just kind of split off, and then they'll dive. And what happens usually is on that dive, on the pause, they will absolutely hammer. The bass will absolutely hammer this rig on the pause. A lot of times they'll hit it on the twitches, on the movement. But in general, what I've noticed is they're going to hit it on the pause, and what they're going to end up hitting is going to be the front fluke. So your Carolina rig here, right? Here's your swivel. Then you have, I will call this the trailing fluke, okay? So they'll hit that 90% of the time. This one over here on the sliding swivel, you can see that swivel just free slides up and down your line. That one, most of the time, they're not going to go for that one. They're going to go for the one in the back, because that'll be the easiest one for them to get to and the easiest one to chase. Now, you do have the opportunity on this rig to catch 2 bass at the same time. I've done it a few times, and I'll tell you what, it's a way different fight than you're used to. So, anyway, guys, that's the donkey rig. I was going to do a couple more rigs, but it's just so flipping hot out here that it's not even worth it right now. I'm just too freaking hot. It's already over 100 degrees, and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to cut these rigs off, pack everything up, and we'll be back later. I have appointments and stuff to go to today, so I'm not going to be able to really fish today anywhere. I was hoping to get out on the big lake tomorrow on the boat, but it's going to be 100 and holy again, so it's not worth even getting out there. It's just too hot there. So, but guys, like I was saying with this donkey rig, it's easier to tie it on the fly. That way you can, you can make your leaders the right lengths. All right. So I'm gonna head out of here, guys. Somebody left a freaking thing of worms over here, so I'm gonna take their trash, throw it in the trash can that it was sitting like 5 feet from. I don't know where you buy freaking night crawlers out here, but somebody brought some in, and they are, what are these? These are 1 dozen garlic night crawlers. I don't know where the hell you find garlic night crawlers, but there's a trash can right there. And yeah, there's freaking right here. Pisses me off. So we'll toss that out on the way out. I found a broken bottle in here this morning on the walk in. All kinds of shit, man. It pisses me off. If you're going to bring trash, whatever with you, take it home, man. Or put it in the trash can. There's like 5 or 6 trash cans right here, and people seem to not be able to use them. The broken bottles is what pissed me off. All right. Get my tripod all situated here. So let me go. Let me go demonstrate how to do this real quick, guys. I guess it's hard for people to understand, but this is garbage. Instead of leaving it right by the trees where somebody left it, and look, this is glass. Why would people leave this shit here? See this? It's easy. Step 1, open. Step 2, throw it in. Step 3, put it back. Not difficult. Not difficult. But people seem not to be able to do it, and that's why places get shut down. Lakes get freaking closed, and spots that we like to hang out at, we can't hang out anymore because stupid people can't throw away a little bit of trash. And then the city or the county or whatever has to come in and clean it up, and it costs them money, and they get pissed and they start shutting through shit down. So there's a tilapia swimming right there. I don't know if you guys can see it with the glare, but all right, so we're going to take off. We're going to go back to the house. I got some appointments today that I got to take care of. I might have to be going in for a surgery on my jaw, so I got to go in and talk to the specialist today and figure that all out. So, but we were going to fish, and then one of the employees from the resort came over and, threw a fit. So I just did the little stupid bait tutorial instead. There is, I don't know if you can see them in there. There's some bass just cruising. There's 2 big tilapia right there. They're just cruising right there. There's a little bass cruising over there. All the little bluegill right here. And this little pond over here has a bunch of little minnows, little mosquito minnows. So now they said they put another pond on the other side of the highway. I've never seen it. I might drive over there real quick and check it out. Actually, I think I will. There's turkey tracks coming up through here. There's been a turkey cruising through the neighborhood. So, guys, thanks for hanging out, even though this video was completely stupid today. This dude just threw a total fit, so. Freaking maintenance guy on a power trip. What they need to do is mellow out. I mean, I get it. This is the resort stocked the fish in here. I get it, but you can't put a fishing hole in a neighborhood and expect people not to fish it. That's just not reality. So we're gonna pack it up here. I am gonna go check out. He said there was another pond across the way that they made. I'm gonna go check that out. All right, I'm looking at my stuff in here. Holy shit, it's hot. My phone's already freaking cooking. So we're gonna overheat here again in a minute. So we're gonna go drive across the way real quick and see if we can find that other pond. And then I might go to the border wall, depending on what time it is. God, my phone is cooking. All right, what time is it? It is. Hopefully, it's time that the store is open so I can go drink. 8:40. 8:40. All right, let's go on a little road trip. See if we can find this other pond. I'll probably get copyrighted for having Pantera on the radio, but God, it's hot. It's 8:39 in the morning and it's 92 degrees out here. So it's going to be a hot day. And I actually have to go into town today to go to the freaking surgeon. I might do a live or drive there just to do it, but if the store's open up here, I'm going to stop and grab a drink because it's hot and I'm thirsty. I don't know if it doesn't open until 9 though, I don't think. So, yeah, he's not open. So, they said there's another pond over here. I'm going to go look and see if I can find it. He said it's right in front of the resort, right behind the houses. I don't see it. I do not see a pond. I see a trash pile, but not a pond. Oh, there it is. I think I might have found it. I think I just found the other pond. Let me go over there and see if it's there. See what it's all about. It looks like I need to drive through here. Oh yeah, there is a pond over here. It's just a little hole full of water. Huh. Let's stop and check it out real quick. Let's see what this is all about. I see movement on top of the water, but it's probably just bugs. There's turkey vultures hanging out right there too. So let's go take a little look at this. See what this is. It's a trash pit is what it is. All kinds of trash all around it. There's nothing in it, but check out the turkey vulture right there. Those things are so big. Yeah, see, this pisses me off. There's like tires and all kinds of crap in here. Little old kids' freaking toys. But hey, there's a little pond over here. I'm going to actually walk the perimeter and see if there's any see what animal tracks I can come up with. See if anything's been using it. I don't see any right here, but there may be something over here. Who knows? So the border's right there. We're like right at the border. Yeah, there's some like little dog footprints over here. Nothing big, just dogs. Possibly coyotes, but I mean, just look at all this trash and shit. Like, this is nasty. This is just a mosquito pit is what this is. Which explains why we have all the mosquitoes around lately. Just so much fucking trash. I don't see a single thing in that water. I don't know how they're filling it. Oh, there's a ton of mosquito larvae in there, though. Yeah, this thing's a mess, dude. This thing's a freaking nightmare. It's like 3 feet deep, the deepest. But it's just nothing but bugs. Bugs and trash. Look at all the trash. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So, all right. You guys want to go check out the border? Or should I just say fuck it and go home because it's so goddamn hot out here? There's Border Patrol sitting right there. Yeah, this is crazy over here. I've never checked this out over here. I can't believe the amount of trash. But we're in the middle of the desert and there's water. That proves that you can find water in the desert. But that's not usable water. That's freaking malaria infested mosquito pond. All right, guys. I think I'm just going to cut this video off and go home. Pretty much had the day just completely screwed up. I did it on a power trip, so we're going to kill it. We're going to go home. It's almost 9 o'clock. Go home, have breakfast, get ready for my appointments, and I'll probably go live a little while later today and see. We'll see some sights of San Diego on my appointment. So I'm out of here, guys. We'll see you later.